The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network.
High school football is on the air. The Oneida Indians, the Scott Highlanders, with Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, and their entire broadcast teams. This is Tennessee's most complete high school football coverage.
Sponsored by Twin K, South Fork Physical Therapy, First National Bank, El Rey, Lumber King, Ray's Axe, Danny's Drugs, TNT Car Wash, Tommy's Motorsports, and Mountain People's Health Councils. Produced by the IH Sports Network, Friday Night Football begins now.
Hello, everybody. Good Monday evening and welcome to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We are coming to you live from the C. Michael Lake Technology Center in Helenwood. I'm Ben Garrett, joined by the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith, and the voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton. And we're going to get to some football. We're going to get to some cheerleading by way of our scholar athletes. We're going to talk to basketball coaches tonight as well as we start to transition into basketball season. But first, we're going to talk football. And, guys, it has been, in a lot of respects, a frustrating season. But there was nothing frustrating about Friday night. Oneida gets an exciting win at the Kings Academy, 24-20. Scott High gets their first win of the season at home against Pickett County, 42-8. And Rick, let's start right there. Scott High jumped out to a big lead in the first half. It was 42-0 at halftime. Then from there they rolled to the win. Nice to get that first win out of the way, I imagine, for Coach Billy Hall.
Well, it certainly is. Of course, he wanted him way back at the beginning of the season and so forth. I mean, but it's been a little bit of a struggle all season long to bring a new group of kids along. Everything totally changed. The offense changed, the defense changed, coaches changed, personnel's changed. You break in a new quarterback starting the season in Gage Privet. I played the first two games, didn't have really any good results there. Then he sort of got hurt, and another guy came in, Michael Bowles, who I think gave us a spark in a couple of games. Then he was injured. And for Micah, he's just really fought an ankle injury practically the whole season. But the last finally got back on the field Friday night, and he'd missed 2 games plus an open date in there. So it's good to see that and see these guys coming together. You can see the bits and pieces. You can see that Coach is getting to put in more and more off his offense each and every week. Gage Privet, who's done a really, I think, good job of controlling the offensive side of the ball. His passing has been better the last 5 games. We've been able to go out and score some points. Good teams, not so good teams, we've been able to do that. We've seen other people step up. We've seen Dawson Spradlin just blossom into a receiver. You get the ball in his area, he fights for it. He goes and gets it. We've seen the defense play well at times. They have played bad at times too. So Friday night we saw a combination of all these things. The touch passes by Gage, good receptions by Dawson. Gus King is quite a reliable receiver. We saw Sig carry the ball in for a nice touchdown run the other night. So, I mean, we have some pieces that are falling together. And to do this in the last 3 games of the season and really not have the dynamic Michael Bond. And Bond gives a lot of speed. And for a couple of those games, we didn't have his brother Cameron, who has a lot more speed. Looks pretty good. So we saw more pieces the other night in the game. We saw Cameron get a comeback and carry the ball. Peyton Griffith, who's sort of an electrifying player. We've seen him at most on defense, but got to handle the ball some on offense. And they're just getting some people in, getting them to understand the roles, how to run a route. Getting the line to block up front and do a better job with that, because that was hurting us in the beginning of the year. So Privet's had some time to throw the ball. He's connected. The other night was, of course, against Pickett County. And most people said, Scott doesn't really have to show up to win the game. But I didn't believe that, and I even said it the other night. Do not take the other team for granted, because if you play bad football and you let bad things happen to you, like if we'd have turned the ball over a bunch, it would have been a much different game. It wasn't. We didn't turn the ball over. We've protected it in many games. But Friday night against Pickett County, you saw some potential. Now, that potential has to be real this Friday night against a much more athletic team in Austin East. and you look at their record, people say, well, they just barely won 2 games. Well, there's a whole different level of athlete on an Austin East team and a Scott High team. Now, some years it can be here, and then there can be these separations. And Austin East still has a bunch of athletes, and the Highlanders have to be able to tackle those athletes. We did a good job of that the other night. We did the things that Coach Holler worked on all week in practice, with the exception of one thing. He was hoping that they would have a chance to sub down, play the 2s and 3s against Pickett County the other night in the second half. And he started with his second team in the second half. Execution level went down, and I think he was real disappointed in that. But other than that, it was a solid win. It's good for the team to get the victory with a chance this week. Who knows what can happen. But it's important to come out Friday night and play solid football.
So the first half of the season, Scott High offensively averaged 10 points a game, right at. Mm-hmm. Second half of the season so far, averaging over 23 points per game. So they've
actually 26 in the last 5 games. I just
you're right.
That out.
You're right. Just over 26 points a game. So they much more than double their offensive production in the second half of the season. We'll talk more about Austin East later, but if Scott High is going to get the win on Friday night in an important game, I think that's going to be a big part of it. They have really stepped up the offense, and I think now you guys have been around football a lot longer than I have. But in my time, the coaches that I have watched who are successful, they typically tend to adjust what they do to fit the players that they've got. And I think we've seen that from Coach Billy Hall this year. Starting off the season, he was maybe trying to do some things that Gage Privet wasn't comfortable doing at quarterback position. As the season's gone along, he's adjusted that to fit what Privet is comfortable doing, and it's really helped out the offense. And the offense is doing quite well right now.
And the offensive line has gelled just a little bit better, despite a couple of injuries, a couple of season-ending injuries in the offensive line. But they've given Gage a little better pocket, a little better opportunity to throw the ball. And his touch, and you've seen that, his touch is there. His ability to throw the 10-yard and then the 20 and maybe even the 30-yard passes has really developed as the season has gone on. And that just shows the confidence that Coach Hall has had in him. And, they have put in hours and hours of work for Gage to understand this. After all, here's a sophomore, first time playing quarterback at the high school level this season. That was not his position last year. So, it's been a growing pain. I shouldn't say growing pain. It has been a growing research effort from coach to quarterback to receivers to try to get something going. And as you see, we have guys. I mentioned Dawson Spratt and Gus King can certainly do that. Lucas Newport can do that. Keegan Bolton can do that. We've got receivers that can catch the ball if we have time and we can get the ball out to them. So it's been fun to watch them grow. And I'm sure everybody's saying, well, man, we expected this back in week 3 or week 4 or week 5. But sometimes it just takes a while. I can see this group, and you got to remember, there's probably only 4 seniors that start on either side of the ball. So you got a whole nucleus, good core coming back for next season.
All right, so Scott High with 42-8 win over Pickett County. Oneida Tim started off 14-0. They were rolling, and finally the Kings Academy, they were able to put together a scoring drive, and then Oneida immediately answers with an 85-yard kick return by Levi James. It's 21-7. That's how it ended. That's how the half ended. And I think myself and a lot of other people thought, well, that's ball game, right? Pretty much. It looked like Oneida was dominating. That turned into a really exciting second half.
It did. The Kings Academy came out not sharp. They had a trio of really excellent players, a running back, last name of Hall, quarterback name of Eckerson, and then a tight end, Hamilton, big target, both wide and tall. And they were not in sync at the beginning of the game. So it gave Oneida a chance to not be in sync a little bit and to build that 14-point lead. The Indians, I think the biggest positive for the Indians is we talked this year about can't run the football. We're averaging 1.9 yards a carry over the last 2 weeks, and of course the competition hasn't been as stiff as the other games we've played. But over the past 2 weeks, Cole Meredith, we'll hear from him later for the second week in a row, he crosses a century mark on the ground this past week. He scored 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks, so that running game has been found a bit, and the line was mixed and matched throughout the year. It seems like the line is starting to find their way. They're holding the blocks a little better. I know that's something that Mark had talked about for the last few weeks, is they're making the blocks, but they're not holding the blocks. Those things have been happening, and again, the athlete level they're dealing with has not been as high as in the past few weeks, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen automatically. So they've worked to fix some things, and they've done a nice job over the last 2 weeks. You build that 21-7 lead at the half. You might have thought it was over, but I mean, the eye test of the quarterback, the kicker, by the way, I forgot to mention their kicker, who was an outstanding athlete, and that tight end and the running back, they were all capable of being a step away from putting 6 on the board at any point in any time. And Coach Mark Martin's defense did a nice job of keeping them contained and keeping them from being that dangerous for the better part of that first half. But they were able to find their way, and of course they made it a very exciting game when they nearly tied the game, made it 21-20, and then Cam Cash, who's our lineman of the week, it'll be Cam's third time here, but it's hard to not put Cam Cash as your lineman of the week when he blocks an extra point, and that was the play of the game at that point to make it 21-20. Oneida comes down. Special teams were good for the Indians, the block, and then they come down and they get a 35-yard field goal from Justin Lynch. That makes it 24-20. Now that puts the Kings Academy in a spot where they have to have a touchdown. They can't just kick a field goal to tie or to take the lead. So they had to have a touchdown. It put them in that 4-down territory. And then, late in the game, here we were inside 1 minute, and they needed the 7-yard line. Their running back steps out at the 8-yard line, and when it was a very controversial call, understandably so. Mm-hmm. And Rick, you've seen a lot of games. I've seen a lot of games. The officials got this one right, even though to the home team it didn't feel right, and maybe that rule needs to be looked at. I don't know, but he steps out of bounds at the 8-yard line, and that automatically means it's Oneida's football. Milliseconds later, one of our defenders hits him out of bounds. It's a 15-yard personal foul penalty. So to the Kings Academy fans, they thought that's going to be a first down because we're getting the ball and that's a first down. But it being a dead ball penalty, he had stepped out of bounds. That play was over, and it was Oneida's football, and then the penalty is assessed. So the Indians were able to run out the clock. It was an environment where the Oneida fans were kind of removed from the equation. If you go back and watch the tape, you can see that looking across the field from my vantage point, it's the 30-yard line to the left is where Oneida was sitting. There were no stands from the 30 all the way down to the end zone where all that action was taking place, except for a set of stands just for the band. So the band was separated from the cheerleaders and the fans. Fans couldn't see the scoreboard. I know Allison Gilbert was telling me she kept sending Wes out to see what the score was or to see what the time was to come back and tell her how much time was left in the quarter. So it was a difficult watch for the Oneida fans. But it was a win for the Indians, and it's now back-to-back wins for the Indians, and they secure that they will be no worse than 500 on the season. So the season hadn't gone the way they've wanted to, but they didn't start with a new coach this year, but they did start with a new quarterback, but it was supposed to be 2 new quarterbacks, and one of those went down. It started with a new offensive line, and then that got broken apart throughout the year. So the Indians have fought their way back to a 5-4 record. Thursday night, on Halloween night, it's going to be senior night. Bledsoe County comes in. This is a team that defeated Oneida 28-0 a year ago down in Pikeville. They still have most of those players back. They look very formidable. I thought coming into the year they would be the absolute best team we would play, but they lost to York this year. So, but they're still something else. And if we can find a way to compete and perhaps beat Bledsoe County, it will be the toughest test of the year for the Indians. So a tall task ahead for Oneida on senior night this Thursday night when Bledsoe County comes into town. But they've got things that they've overcome some adversity, and they've got plenty of things to feel good about in what they've done this year, and a lot to look forward to. A lot of players that have emerged they're going to be a big piece of the puzzle going into 2025.
All right, so Oneida with their 5th win of the season against the Kings Academy. Guys, as we head into the final week of the regular season, the playoff picture at this point is pretty simple. And we'll start Oneida. It's very simple. You got to beat Bledsoe County first. That's the main thing. You got to take care of business.
That's the hardest part
against Bledsoe County. Then you also got to have some help. Wartburg has to beat Tellico Plains because if Wartburg doesn't beat Tellico Plains, Tellico's locked into that spot, that 4th spot, no matter what. For Scott High, we think it may be as simple as you just got to beat Austin East. And obviously nothing else would matter, as a matter of fact. It's all about TSSAA counting that win against Pickett County, which doesn't play a varsity schedule. Now, I have seen nothing to indicate to me that TSSAA will or will not count that. Coach Billy Hall seems pretty confident, though, so I'm wondering, I haven't spoken to him, has he gotten an answer?
There's a side out there that has, and it comes off the TWS, that background, basically, that says, you win, they are. There's a couple other caveats to that. I mean, it's real simple. Will Union County beat Alcoa tonight?
No.
Okay. I mean, so Union County, barring some miracle there like that, if they were to win tonight, well, then it's sort of over for the Highlanders. But, I mean, it's not Halloween, so strange things won't happen tonight. And how many coaches do you know, talking about Alcoa's Brian Nix, how many coaches do you know that arguably plays the toughest game on his schedule, Friday night, Maryville, and says, it's no problem. We'll come back on Monday and make up a game that we missed with Union County. How many coaches do you know that's going to undertake that? I don't know of any. But I mean, there are some scenarios, but basically it boils down, Highlanders need to win.
To be fair, if it were anybody than Union County, he may not have been so eager to play that game on Monday night.
Exactly. Exactly.
But, yes.
But there would have been no other time he could have made it up, and that would have been just 8 games for Alcoa this year, and that's what they're trying to get away from.
If Scott High gets a win on Friday night and the win against Pickett County does count in the tiebreaker scenario, Scott would actually not only would he get in the playoffs, it would actually be the 3 seed.
3 seed.
So that's the setup. We're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to talk to a couple of cheerleaders who are our Scholar Athletes of the Week. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network alongside Tim Smith and Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett. Tim, we forgot to mention that first segment is sponsored by Little's Drugs and Fountain, your favorite lunch spot in Huntsville. And you can get sandwiches, you can get soups. They've got cornbread salad I discovered the other day. I've yet to find anything there that's not good.
Hot chocolate with marshmallows. Frequently I've been sent to retrieve.
So Little's Drugs and Fountain, thank you for your support of the Roundtable. And now we're going to be switching to academics. We're football because we got a couple of cheerleaders here, but academics because they're our Stan Scholar Athletes of the Week, and both of them have been on the show already this season. Oneida senior Ellie Grants, 4.0 GPA. Scott High senior, I almost called you a junior. Scott High senior Emma Carroll. It doesn't seem like you should be a senior, but here we are. So congratulations to both of you guys for your success in the classroom. And with that said, I'm just going to let these guys just take it away, and they can fight over who wants to ask the first question.
I'll go, Rick. That's all right.
Take it away, Tim.
All right. So Ellie, second time on the round table. Have people been asking your autograph from the first time you were on here, just hitting you up saying, I saw you on TV. It was amazing. That hasn't been happening?
No.
It's not happening to me either, so I was going to ask you how I could get that to happen. So I guess I'll just have to move on to the next subject, okay? All right. So, and I may repeat some questions. I hope I don't, but, I have trouble remembering, as Rick pointed out, we're at a certain age. But what is some of the classes that give you the most challenge? Has there been a class that has put your 4.0 under the gun, under the pressure?
Probably college algebra. That one was really hard.
Okay, who's your teacher for college algebra?
Jody Jeffers.
Okay, and so did you take geometry as well? Let me ask you this, because algebra and geometry, they're both math, right? But sometimes people tend to get geometry and they don't get algebra. They get algebra and they don't get geometry. Which one is more down your alley, or do you just
algebra? I cannot do the shapes.
The geometry? Yeah, and theorems? It doesn't make any sense to me, Ellie, so you're not going to be able to help me with that, right?
No.
Okay, are you going to go into a field that's going to have a lot of math?
I don't really know what I want to do yet.
Okay.
So I don't really know.
Are there any possibilities? I mean, or is it easier to say at this point, I can tell you what I'm not going to do?
I'm really thinking about like teaching.
Okay.
Or maybe psychology.
Okay. What level of teaching would it be? Elementary, middle, high school, college teaching? What type of?
Either elementary or high school.
Okay. And what would be the reason that that's one of your preferences?
I just feel like I love kids.
Okay.
I really can connect. They're the Best Buddies program. I love that. So I feel like I can really connect with the kids.
As long as they're not middle schoolers. Yeah, because you said elementary and high school. You don't have to say anything else. Okay. Now, would you sponsor some type of a after-school activity or extracurricular activity? Like you cheered. Would you be open to being a cheerleading sponsor when you went back?
Yes, I would.
Yep. Is there anything else the Best Buddies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you feel like is a really strong extracurricular in the school that you'd like to support?
Those are about it.
Okay. All right. So if you went into teaching, let's say, would you stay in the classroom? Is that where you'd want to be all your life, or would you consider going into administration?
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I maybe start out, obviously, in the classroom and
Okay.
then maybe see about administration.
You wouldn't close the door on it.
No.
So if you were going to be administration, would it be elementary or high school principal that you would consider?
I would consider it.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What do you think are some strong points of the teachers and the principals that you have had? Because obviously, usually when a student has a 4.0, they've had a pretty good school experience. And so what would you say are some of the features that teachers and principals have that you just like to give them a shout out and say, here's what I think you did so well while I was in school?
Really good at leadership. Really just taking under our wing. I feel like I can always talk to a lot of my teachers. Like if I'm struggling, I need extra help, I feel like I can walk in at any time and be like, hey, can you help me with this? Really good at like getting the students involved with not just like the education part, but like adding activities with them.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that.
Okay. Now let me ask you something else, and then I'm going to give Rick a go here. But so teaching at a school, would it have to be a school the size of Oneida, or, I mean, because say it was Farragut or Central or something in Knoxville, a huge school where there's several principals and several students, and you wouldn't know everybody that's walking the halls. Would you have a preference on which one of those?
Definitely a smaller school.
Smaller school. Okay. All right, Rick, I'll give you a go, and then I'll jump back in.
Okay, excellent there. A senior, Emma, a senior. Is this year going real fast? I mean, you're involved in cheer, you're involved in some other school activities. Tell us about the senior experience for yourself right now.
It's gone by super fast. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year, but all the activities we've had, like Senior Sunrise, and all the games have been super fun. So,
what do you see yourself? Well, wait a minute. Before I take you down that road, who are the teachers that you'd like to give a shout out to right now? And some that you don't have to name, but just tell us the subject that you just did not like at all during your high school career.
One that honestly fits into both of those categories is Miss Hall's class, which you definitely have heard about her class. It's very hard, but it teaches you a lot inside of the classroom and outside of the classroom. So
Lots of homework in that class.
a ton of homework, yes.
I sort of thought with this block schedule and the way the block schedule is set up, you're not supposed to have a lot of homework. So I'm wrong about that.
Really, so far, it's just been for her class. But
Okay. What classes have you enjoyed? Are you like Ellie, for instance? Are you a math whiz? Are you science or history?
I enjoy math, but I'm better at reading, so it really just depends on the day.
Are either one of you history fans, buffs of history?
I like presidents. I like learning about that, but
Okay.
Who was the 13th president?
oh, well, maybe not. Maybe not the order.
I-
but
Who was the 13th president?
I have no idea.
There you go.
It was the one before James Buchanan. I know that. So who was it?
Don't ask. Well, you can go back and research that.
Obviously,
That's
none of us
actually
are
not
history
true
buffs,
either. It was
so.
no, that's not true either. Anyway, carry on.
You know, who was the 16th president?
Abraham Lincoln.
There you go. What do you see yourself doing in the future? I think I asked you before, and you said I'm not sure that in the future I'm going to be a cheerleader at the college level. So what are you going to do in the future? What classes do you want to take, and what are you working for degree-wise?
Degree-wise, if I'm lucky enough, I'd love to get a degree in dance, obviously, but I also want to be a speech pathologist.
Mm-hmm.
So really anything that can kind of push me towards being one of those.
Are you taking dual classes?
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite class that you take as a dual subject?
So far, it's been psychology because it's not that hard, and the teacher, she's amazing. So.
You know, guys, we're sort of being, they want to be psychologists and stuff like that, and that's way up here compared to us. So
they could spend a lot of time around this crew. If you guys need an internship, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true. Have you already applied for several schools, and which ones have you been accepted to?
I'm not really sure, but there's one that I'm waiting on the acceptance for. So
throw that out. This is where you would really want to go, right?
Yes, Ball State is where I really want to go. It's in Indiana.
Indiana. Why Indiana? Why Ball State? What do they have that somebody else doesn't have?
Well, their musical theater and dance program is just amazing, and then it's also really close to my family. So that'd be really fun.
Do you want to advance beyond that? Do you want to be professionally, like an actor, a dancer, Broadway, Hollywood?
I would love to be on Broadway. That's like my dream, but honestly, anything to get me there would also be just as fun.
So you're willing to take the steps and the hard work it takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
What's Mom and Dad think about this dance career that you want to have, or this acting or musical career that you want to have?
They support me for whatever I want to do, so I'm really thankful for them.
Not just to get you out of the house, but they do actually support you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Mike, Elizabeth. I wouldn't do that. Be like that. Who's somebody, another classmate, another senior classmate, who's somebody that has been there to help you along? If you say, I've struggled in this class, or I've struggled in, who's helped you along? And it can be more than one person.
Connor Hudson, we've had every class together since my freshman year, so if I'm struggling, she helps me, and if she's struggling, I can help her. And
of course, you've probably seen her, she's had some basketball-type injuries, and so she's probably been down in case and had to work back with rehab stuff. So anybody else that you, besides Connor?
There's a lot of people, but off the top of my head, I can't really think of anyone other than her.
What are the odds that in a 4-year career, high school career, that two students would be in the same class together?
Very small chance, but I'm very happy that I was with her.
Okay, well, glad that you shouted Connor out there like that. I think that's remarkable. If you cannot get Ball State, what would your fallback be?
I don't really know. I haven't thought about it much.
So it's Ball State or bust, basically. Indiana, here I come.
Yeah.
Okay. Final thing that I really want to ask you is, will you remember us when you're on Broadway?
Yes, if I ever get there, then yes.
Would you be interested in writing a play that would be based on us?
I mean, if I ever get the chance.
Who would go see that? Is it a musical? Have you heard me sing?
Look, man, she could write the play. She could get Lin-Manuel Miranda to do the music score, and then, I have a desire to see our legacy live on.
Yes. Well, let me jump in just real quick then. When are the top 10s announced? February-ish. Okay. So there's a chance. There's a chance you could have a speech in your future. Is that right? So the last question I want to ask is, what are the qualities of a good speech from a valedictorian? I'll let Ellie go first, and then you go. What do you think would be if you were chosen to speak at graduation? What are the good qualities of a valedictory speech?
I would obviously thank certain people, like my parents and stuff, but I also would probably make mine funny. I love when they're funny. Excellent. It's so funny. It just adds this little flair to graduation to kind of get the sadness away.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think just keeping it short and sweet, because I think everybody's ready to get out of here.
I was hoping someone was going to say short.
Short and sweet, and the whole audience is happy, and your classmates that are graduating that day, they're all happy to do that. Are y'all in line for the valedictorian?
No.
No.
Not at all. Well, my goodness.
How can you be 4.0s and not, right?
I would have thought.
I can't figure this out. So.
Well,
All right, guys, it just came to me. Millard Fillmore was the 13th president. Just happen to remember that.
Wait
Now-
a minute, did you look that up?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. Leetta did. So, Ellie, was he a Republican or a Democrat?
Oh,
Hang on. Tim, was Millard
Neither.
Fillmore? Tim's right. That was a trick question
I
because
know what he was.
the Republican Party. Hang on,
You know,
the
I know what he
Republican
was.
Party did not come along until 1856. What was he, Tim?
Well, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing he was a Whig.
Well, if he wasn't a Democrat, he had to have been a Whig. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, I don't know how we got into that, but anyway, Ellie Grooms, Emma Carroll, congratulations on your success in the classroom. Good luck. Well, this Friday night's our final football. Hopefully not our final football game. It could be our final football game, but good luck in basketball season as we move forward with this. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk to a couple of Oneida Indians. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. He's Tim Smith. He's Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett. Greg Bond is back here behind the computer doing what Greg Bond does. That's making things happen. Leetta Boyd is over in her usual position, which is guarding the door to make sure no one busts in here and takes over the set. And we appreciate all of you guys.
It hadn't happened a single time.
It has
She's
not.
been perfect.
Thanks to Leetta.
Yeah.
Who would want to tackle with Leetta?
Not me.
No. All right. So we're joined by our Oneida First National Bank Player of the Game from Friday night, and that is Cole Meredith, and also our Trophy Masters lineman of the game. I think he's been here a time or two.
Yeah.
Cam Cash.
Cam's auditioning for a regular role in the series.
Yeah, so
He wants to be in the musical when it's
when
written.
when Emma puts it together, yeah.
Let's hear you sing.
I can't.
Okay. Well, I
Oh,
can't.
there are other parts in the play, like, you know.
So Cam had the blocked extra point,
Yes.
big play late in the game. Cole, 137, a career high, 137 yards and a touchdown on Friday night against Kings Academy.
Yeah, and we didn't discuss. I'll start with you, Cole. We didn't discuss it. I bet Bo could have just brought it up to us if we had asked the question, because he's pretty good that way. But do you know who the last 100-yard rusher was before you?
No, I'm not for sure.
I mean, it's been a while. I can't remember who it was or who it would have been. I mean, I'm guessing maybe we're looking back at Colby Morgan at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe Colby had crossed the 100-yard mark. I might be forgetting somebody, and Ben may even get a text. Oh, it was somebody else. But anyway, do you have that as a goal going into a game? What are your goals going into a game? I mean, I know that's always been a mark that people have looked at, but I know you didn't go in Friday night saying I'm going to rush for over 100. But I mean, what steps are taken? What has to happen to get to that point?
Well, just getting as much as yards as you can. Just driving the ball as much as you can, hoping your line block's good for you.
Did they do that Friday night?
Oh, yeah, they definitely did.
Some of the better holes you've had all year?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you could tell from our vantage point that was happening. But then, like what you just said, finishing that run, first contact, you don't go down. I think you're a lot better than that than you were early in the year. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the things you're doing that has allowed you to continue at least getting 1, 2, 3 more yards? Are there some techniques you're doing or anything you're doing in practice to improve that ability?
Well, I've been lifting a lot more.
Okay.
Trying to, at least. But jump cuts help me a lot. I practice those a lot, so that's what really helps me.
Okay, and then also it seems like there's been times. I mean, it might have been a negative one time Friday night, but your patient running seems like you're allowing some of the holes to develop instead of running, headlong into some things.
Mm-hmm.
So have you worked on that quite a bit?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I try to.
All right. Well, obviously something's working well, right? So now you're going to be playing a team that's a very different beast from the last 2 weeks this Friday night, and 137 against Kings. If you can get 50 against Bledsoe, that might be the equivalent. But I mean, I know that's not going to satisfy you. But what's going to be the challenge against Bledsoe? What's the biggest difference in them and these two lines you've run against the last 2 weeks?
Well, they seem to coach better, and they get on the ball very quickly, so they're ready to play.
Pretty big too, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge. I know last year we were unable to get points on the board against them, but they're just they're one of those teams that has the big. They may not be a quick offensive line, but they're a big offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Or defensive line, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what about the game Friday night, and how were you feeling going into halftime, were you pretty confident in that one?
Yeah, it felt pretty good because we was up by, a touchdown?
Two touchdowns at halftime, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a touchdown, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, it was
Touchdown.
21-14, yeah.
You know, I realized that mistake after I said it, and then Tim just picked up on it and went with it.
It was going to be, and I was thinking, I remember looking at the clock, and it was halftime was just ending at 9 o'clock, and that's later than usual. And I was thinking, man, with all the scoring and the points, this is going to be, we could be here till 11:30. But then in the third quarter, nobody scores, right?
Yeah.
It was weird. Cam, I'm going to turn to you now. So big moment in the game. You guys had this at one point. You had a 21-7 lead. Then it was 21-14. Neither team scores in the fourth quarter, and then with 6 minutes to go, what were you thinking when Kings Academy, they're back down at their own, I think it was their 30, maybe their 25, and then a 4th and 3, and they came up and they tried to get y'all offsides. Who's out there yelling at everybody, don't jump?
Coach Martin. I can hear him off the side of the field.
Because it happened a few times earlier in the year, right?
Ben's a big part of it.
Okay. So, and you all didn't jump, and then they call a timeout, and I thought, okay, well, they're going to send their punter out. And then they come back out and know they're going for it. Did you expect that, or did you think they were going to punt?
I thought they was going to punt it.
Yeah. So when you saw, no, they're really going for it, what was your thought on that?
That they was going to run the ball.
But they didn't.
No.
Yeah. So they hit the big tight end. We talked about it. Just seemed like the quarterback and that big tight end, number one, and then the running back 5, they got stronger through the game. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
So what was it like to try to bring down number 5?
I really don't remember it. He was a big, tough guy, but it wasn't an issue, really.
Okay. All right. So y'all were able to get some pressure on the quarterback, but it seemed like you never were able to get him on the ground.
No.
Elusive, right?
Yeah, he's very quick.
Yeah. So they drive down and they tie the game up, get within 1. They didn't tie the game up because you had a block on the extra point. Did you do anything different from what you do every single time on an extra point, or what was going on there?
No, I wasn't where I was supposed to be, and the dude just didn't block me, so I just ran through.
Yeah.
Just stuck my hands up and jumped.
And I know initially we called it, I think we said it was William Hill that blocked it.
Yeah.
Initially, he was in the area, but then we went back, thanks to Greg Bond and the beauty of instant replay, we were able to go back and look at that and say, oh, no, that was Cam. And I think one of the things that went against you, us not being sure it was you, is you were just so low-key in your celebration. You just kind of blocked it, put your hands down, and ran over the sideline.
Yeah.
So, but everybody's pretty fired up. And that was a huge play in the game, right? Because you guys drive down and Justin gets a pretty big field goal because now they can't tie it with a field goal.
Yeah.
So now talk to us about late in the game when they step out of bounds on 4th down. They're a yard short, but there was a late hit out of bounds, and I don't even know who the late hit was on.
Yeah.
And so he has the late hit. And what did you think initially? Did you think this is going to be against us and they're going to have the ball?
Yeah, I thought that. The play before, I actually jumped off sides.
Okay.
So they got moved up 5 more yards. And then they threw that flag, late hit, whatever it was. And I was like, this is going to be a rough one.
Yeah. Because you thought they were going to be at the 3 and get 4 more shots at it, right? How much time was left? Like 30 seconds or something?
Yeah, it was around there.
Yeah, but they didn't have any timeouts?
No.
You didn't either, I don't think. So I guess I'm asking, during the game, ups and downs, was there ever a point in the game when you thought, I don't think we're going to be able to pull this one out?
No, there wasn't one.
Even when you thought maybe they were going to get it at the 3?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I thought we were still going to win.
All right, that's pretty confident. So, Cole, what about you? What were you thinking during all that series where they got the football or where they got the penalty?
Yeah, I thought something was might have happened, but I had faith, so we kept it in the game.
If that had been you that stepped out of bounds early and then got the late hit flag, would you have wanted to keep the ball and get the first down?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's but it's the correct call. What happened there was the correct call. So now, this week, Bledsoe County, a chance to finish 5-5. I mean, there's still a chance for playoffs too on it. So how has practice gone so far, and what's it going to be like playing a game a day early?
Went well so far. Thursday might be a little weird, but practice. I mean, it's just going to be normal, but, I mean, I really just, I don't know. I don't know. It's just going to be like how it is usually.
Right. You just got to do it because that's what it is. Is there any, and I don't want you to tell us what it is, but is there any new additions this week, any trick plays or any things that are being inserted just for Bledsoe County, or is it pretty much we just got to get better at what we're already doing?
Well, we probably just have to get better at what we're doing, really. But, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. Okay.
Well, if you don't know, then I bet there's not anything new going in. So how about how important is it to you to have a strong finish for the seniors? I mean,
it's very important.
Tell me about
it'll be their senior night too. Yeah. So just try to play as hard as we can.
Tell me about the seniors that have really been really good to Cole on this team, who have really taken care of you and been a good example and welcomed you in.
I'd say Cam and probably Levi, James, and I'd have to say Cooper West.
What's going to be the hardest thing to replace about those seniors when they're not out there on the field with you next year?
Honestly, just the way they just was around us and how we just played, and it was just fun.
Do you have leaders that aren't seniors, or are there going to have to be some new leaders step up?
Definitely some new ones stepping up, but no, I don't know.
All right, Cole, best of luck on Thursday. Hope you get another 100, 200.
Yeah, I'll try.
All right. Okay, Cam, Thursday night, it could be the final one. Do you think about that, or are you just thinking about playing the game?
No, I don't think about it.
Okay. What about a lot of games you guys have played together? What's going to be the important thing for you Friday night or Thursday night? I keep saying Friday. Thursday night, what do you feel like is the most important thing for you guys to do on Thursday?
Just don't give up. Just play as hard as we can, all 4 quarters.
Okay. Bledsoe, can they be beaten?
Yes, they can.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to wish you the best of luck in it. And I've enjoyed every one of your appearances, even if you can't sing. It's been great watching you and your senior crew this year. And I think you've taught these younger guys a lot, and I look forward to seeing what they learn from you. But thank you both for joining us.
Hey, is it going to be – sorry, Rick, did I interrupt you?
No, go right ahead.
Is it going to be weird for you not to be able to trick or treat Thursday night?
No.
Okay.
Kevin, did you know Kevin's dressing up? I don't know if everybody knows this.
Is he wearing his Indian garb?
He is not. He said it is not going to be, in the past he has put on the full headdress and everything. So I don't know what he's dressing up as, but,
Well, if I had to sit there and have John L. Strunk and Mark Matthews make fun of me relentlessly like they do Kevin when he wears it, I wouldn't wear it either.
Yeah, I would.
That's not fair.
It wouldn't take that to make me not wear that, but, it's just probably.
I want to ask Cam something. Yeah. I watch the replays of the night games quite a bit, and also look at the stats. I like looking at stats like that. The Oneida linebackers, starts with Ben and the other linebackers, they get buku tackles every game. What do you guys do up front that you just occupy the offensive line so they can headhunt the ball?
We try to get double teamed to keep them off linebackers.
I just think it's remarkable of what the defensive line can do, and the linebackers are filling those gaps and doing a really good job there with that. It's just that's a compliment to the defensive line's compliment to the linebackers and how well Coach Martin coaches them up, I think.
I have it. Before we go to break, I've got a Cam question as well. So last week I asked Cole, because Cole's dad, Phil Meredith, was known as a speedster back in the day, and I asked last week if you two guys lined up, Cole and Phil, right now, Cole at his age and Phil at his age, who would win a race? Who would win a 40? Now, Cole's pretty confident, okay? So nobody, I don't think, Rick, correct me if I'm wrong, nobody's called Scott Cash a speedster, right? So, but if Cam Cash and Scott Cash line up and run a 40, who's going to win?
I got him.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. He's
all right.
I think if he were 18 years old, the Scott Cash 18 years old and the Cam Cash 18, I think you'd still have it.
Yeah, I got him.
Oh, man, that's tough. Sorry, Scott. Well, I didn't mean for that.
I'm giving Cam his due.
All right, Cole Meredith, Cam Cash, our player of the game and lineman of the game from Friday night. Good luck Friday night against Bledsoe County. Guys, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll flip to Scout High football on the other side. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Alongside Tim Smith and Rick Keaton, I'm Ben Garrett, and we're joined now by our Scott High superlatives from Friday night's win over Pickett County, and that includes our Trophy Masters lineman of the game, Hayden Mason, and our First National Bank player of the game, the quarterback, Gage Privet. I told you guys I was going to lose someone's name before this show ended because, anyway. Now, if Gage, show off your shirt, Gage. So, obviously, this is the second time that Gage has been player of the game because he's already wearing the shirt. But he got another shirt courtesy of First National Bank. Right. And Hayden is a left guard for the Highlanders, part of the Rick, what I think is the most improved unit for Scott High. We talked earlier about the improvement of the offense. I think the offensive line may be the most improved unit on the football team from the beginning of the season to now. And that's saying something because quarterback, that position has improved quite a bit as well. So Hayden and the offensive line, another big game on Friday night. And this guy, pretty big game as well with 4 touchdowns, career high, 4 touchdowns on Friday night against Pickett County, Rick.
I want to start with Hayden. Hayden's asked me some back in the summer, I think. When can I be on that show talking about the Roundtable? I mean, he's. I'm glad you're here. He was excited about it. I mean, 12 weeks ago, he was very excited.
What took us so long?
I don't know, man.
Well, he dealt a little bit with an injury right before the start of the season, and it took him just a while really to get going. But I thought the offensive line really started clicking well, and Hayden, I'll let you address this, when Braden Potter finally got a little healthy, got in the center role, and you guys just sort of got better. Unfortunately, he's out for the rest of the season because the shoulder never did completely heal there like that. But tell us about the other lineman who's up front with you right now and what their strong points are.
Eli can really set the edge on like with D ends and stuff.
And he's the left tackle.
Yes, sir. Dakota, he had to move into center. Big step up. Mm-hmm. Just make sure to get the ball back there good. We should be moving. I don't really know nothing about the right side. I don't pay attention to him.
I'll mention something. You've got this freshman that started every game at the right tackle, mm-hmm. Jaden Parra.
Yep.
What do you think his future is going to be? I mean, he's played pretty solid all year.
Yeah. I think if he hits the weight room in his off seasons, he can be pretty good.
Yeah. And I just foresee that our line, we've got some bodies that's on the sidelines right now, and if the weight room and conditioning stuff like that, I think we can continue to have a good line for the next 2 or 3 years because the people are there and they want to be there.
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned Dakota. I thought Dakota had a good game the other night. Because you're the one. He's the guy who's got to get the snap to the quarterback and hopefully not too high and not too wide and stuff like that. So, finally getting to move in there. As he may not be as good as Potter, but he's certainly helped the line.
I mean, he can't get the ball back there as good as Potter. No disrespect, Dakota. But Dakota's got more size than Potter, so mm-hmm. he can move a little bigger guys than Potter could.
Yeah, and I'm not. This is no dig on Potter. There was a game 2 or 3 games ago where the first half Potter was just floating it back to Gage. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly the second half, I don't know what the coach said to him, second half the missiles were coming back at you. Yeah. So, we couldn't understand that, but obviously it was a correction at halftime. Mm-hmm. Gage, you started first game of the season, and it may have just been my perception, but you were a little, what's a polite word, timid? At that stage, starting your first game, no real high school experience at that position. The last 5 games, I said in the opening, I thought the line was better. I thought they gave you more time, but your understanding of the game, talk about that. I think it's gone from here. I mean, you understand what Coach Hall's trying to get you to do now, right?
I mean, I really feel like it's just like me being there and playing more because those first 2 games were my first games being there, period. So it's just really just getting more time playing, getting more time at quarterback, and
And Coach Hall started spending more time practice-wise with you, too, talking about the little increments. Yeah. And he feels that, and I've talked to him, he feels he can put in more of his offensive plays from a week-to-week basis. Mm-hmm. And is he still continue to do that as we get to the final game of the season?
Yeah. Each week we're probably putting in like 4 to 5 plays, but it's really not a huge deal. We're doing pretty good at just like not forgetting the plays and putting them to like good use and stuff. So.
If I were to ask you, do you have a favorite receiver? I mean, you throw the ball real well to Dawson. You throw the ball pretty good to Gus, and then suddenly the other night, where's Lucas Newport? Do you have somebody that is your go-to guy? I'll throw it to him no matter what.
I love them all. I'm not gonna pick a favorite because I'll probably get. You know.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. So there's no way that you're going to throw me under the bus by picking one there.
No, for sure.
But let's talk about Dawson's really developed. Gus has came along. Lucas getting a chance to play. Keegan's getting a chance to play out on the edge there. Have they grown? Do you think they've grown as much as you've grown through the course of the season?
Well, they were all pretty decent last season. I was kind of just not really good until these past few games. So I've probably grown more just because they were better. You know.
I think last year you probably only played defense. You were a defensive end. And for a couple of games, you've got to play a little defense this year. Obviously, if I'd asked you last year, you'd have said, hey, I'm a defensive player. Are you an offensive player now? Do you feel that you've graduated up to that?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's just more fun, the defense is, to be honest. Because
why? You get to hit people? Mason gets to hit people.
I don't really know. I mean, I think it's just funner making plays than just like sitting there and tackling people. To be honest, I mean,
offense has done a good job with that. I want to go back to Mason. You don't play as much defense because we go with a smaller, quicker front four, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, but I saw you on the field a little bit the other night. Tell us what situations that you expect to get in the game on the defensive line.
I just really want to get in there and make plays when I do get on defense. I mainly just play offense. Really just, I don't really know.
Of all the linemen, whether it be offensive line, whether it be defensive line, who's got the best motor? And who's the guy pushing him and chasing him? You know, it really gives you that 115% every game.
Really, probably Para. He tries his best 95% of the time. So he's probably the one. He's probably the. Ain't nobody give it 115, but.
but you're pretty sure that of the 5 offensive linemen, we're getting 95% out of every one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. The other night, I think Ben called it one of the plays talking about Eli got out and really pancaked somebody. Does it? You talk about. I only know the guys on from center to Eli, the left tackle. Is that the best side of the line?
I'd say, yeah.
Rick is really trying to get you guys to throw your teammates on the bus tonight.
No, I'm just getting them to admit the truth, stressing the truth. So who's helped you in your high school career? What other player on the team has helped you and that has been there to guide you, to help you, to give you pointers?
This year it's really been not really a lineman. It was Cameron Bond. Really, he pushes me because he sees the potential in me. Gage Privet does too. And then last year was my stepbrother Alton Whaley. He really pushed me last year. He's probably the biggest that's pushed me.
Yeah, because he made this huge change between his junior and senior years. I mean, he really came in prepared last year, added weight, and really mentally got ready to play games. I mean, so that was good. As we're looking ahead to this Austin East game, what do you think about I know you watch film and stuff. What do you think about the defensive line, what you're going to go up against Austin East?
Their D-line's really – they got some size to them. They're really fast. Not really physical. I mean, they are a little bit, but if we just get on people and drive our feet and use our hands, we can really move them.
Gage, what do you want to do this week? What does the offensive team want to do this week to be successful?
The offensive team, probably I don't really know. We've not really talked about it much because it is just Monday, but. What I would think was probably running the ball the most because their corners are really fast and it'd probably be hard to get our guys to be wide. So That's probably my plan is running it.
I want to ask you guys, what's the loss of Michael been like? I mean, because he was really just getting, I think, really back. I mean, he's been hampered his whole high school career with injuries. He was just really getting back when he got hurt. What's that loss been like? And after a couple of games, are we ready? You think somebody's come back in and step up for that?
I mean, he was for sure a huge loss, but I think Dawson has for sure filled that role good. And we're getting Cameron Bond back, so he'll definitely help too with the run game.
Right. And you also had a couple other guys. Peyton Griffith plays a little bit on offense last week, and
Desmond too. He's a big help too for sure.
What about you? The loss with Michael.
That really made a big impact on the team. Everybody loved Michael. Michael just doing what he's supposed to be doing. I know it was really hard on me too because me and Michael grew close from freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. It's not the same blocking for Michael as it is his brother Cameron. It's still fun, but not as fun.
Well, because if you're in his way, Michael was going to run right up your back, wasn't it? That's the difference there. It's been fun to watch you guys grow on the season, and I know it's been difficult because you've had two coaches. How difficult was the adjustment, Coach Harris, now to Coach Billy Hall? Has that change been easy? Who was the hardest coach that you're having to play for right now? Is it Coach Hall?
I don't know. It's really the biggest thing for me was just the way Coach Harris had his play calls made up, and then Billy switching it. That's the biggest part for me.
So it is different.
Yeah,
different offense.
I feel the same way. I mean, the coach that is definitely the hardest is definitely Bill Hall. He's for sure the hardest at practice. Yeah.
He's the guy that walks in just right after you actually take the field, and he's the first one that gets to the offensive defensive lineman, isn't he? I mean, so yeah, the old guy can still bring it, right?
For sure.
Is there any? We may not have you guys on here next week. I don't know. We hope that both of you can come back next week. What's the defensive coordinator like on the team? Is he hard to get along with?
He's all right.
He's all right. Just all right. Well, there you go. Okay. Guys, thanks a lot. It's fun watching you play the other night, and look really, really forward to this Friday night, Austin East.
Hey, so our cover photo this week is Hayden hoisting Desmond Bowling in there after touchdown. So I got to know, was that tough? How much do you bench, Hayden?
315.
Okay, so no problem for you to get. Dez is a short guy, so that wasn't any problem, right?
It's a lot harder than you think, though.
Oh, yeah?
I need him to jump.
Ask him what he squats, though.
605.
605. So, okay. So you could squat all three of us put together?
Probably.
Okay, well, that's quite impressive. All right, so let me ask you guys one question. And this, both of you guys, obviously you got at least one game left, and hopefully more than one game left this season. So by no means are we asking you guys to look beyond that. But you're a junior. You're just a sophomore, which is sometimes it's hard with the progression you've made this year. It's hard to remember you're just a sophomore in your first season as quarterback. A lot of players coming back this year that are going to be back on the field next year for Scott High that are making plays right now. What's next season going to look like for you guys?
I mean, I feel like we're just going to keep on getting better and better, more as the years go on. So,
how about Hayden?
I'm same as him.
Yeah. All right, I think there's a chance when we're sitting here in a couple of years from now, and who knows what the future holds, but I think at that point we're going to look back at this moment and moving forward and say that was the turning point, because the junior class and the sophomore class, you guys have really stepped it up this year. And that's to take nothing away from the seniors, because y'all have got some seniors that certainly are going to miss as well.
And I'll just say, from watching you guys this year, obviously the progression has been there. There's been improvement from week to week. It doesn't come automatically, though. You got to keep working at it. If you go back and watch the very first round table, watch this one, it's stagnant. Same thing. We haven't worked. No. we're no better than we were. So you all got to put something into it. Okay.
We reached our potential a long time ago. Yeah. I mean,
Hey, last thing. So we have 1 week. This is the last game of the season, of the regular season anyway. And so we need this by Friday night. So there is no doubt Now, Hayden's got good hair. I'm not taking anything away from Hayden or anybody else on the Sky High team. Gage Privett's got the best hair on the team, okay? He says that he gets his hairstyle from his dad, who is defensive coordinator Eric Privet. Can we get a picture of your dad with hair like yours back in the day? Can we have that by Friday night?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
All right, we're going to count on that. All right, so Hayden Mason, our lineman of the game, and Gage Privet, our player of the game from Friday night. Good luck against Austin. These should be a great game. And by the way, everybody at Sky High is calling on y'all to get out Friday night and build a big crowd and support the Highlanders.
Don't forget, it's senior night. It's also alumni night. They've got a big thing going on there for the alumni. That would be you and me.
Yeah, and by the way, also, so this is one of those weeks where Oneida plays on Thursday, Scott High plays on Friday, so there's no reason that the folks down south can't head up north Thursday night. The folks up north head down south Friday night. Two really big games coming up this week. Good luck, guys. We're going to take our last break of the night. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with basketball. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We are getting awfully close to basketball season. In another month, we'll be playing basketball. And so we're going to, next 2 weeks, we're going to focus on basketball to close out the Roundtable. Tonight, we've got Oneida coaches. Next week, we'll have Scott High coach. There's only one of them, and that's Rusty Aiden. But tonight, we got Oneida Lady Indians coach Marv West and the boys coach Jacob King. And Tim, I'm just going to start asking questions, and you pitch in where you want to. Okay. So, and Marv, we'll start with you since you play first on game nights. Talk to us a little bit to start off about the seniors you lost last year and how you intend to replace them this year.
Well, I'm replacing some young ladies that played 3, if not 4 years. You know, Rayleigh played all 4 years, and one of the best defenders, if not the best defender I ever coached. So there's big shoes to fill there. Grace and Analia both knew what we wanted. You know, even though they were outsized or matched some nights, they still, held their own. We got a lot of questions, to answer, and it's going to be before Christmas, shuffling people in and out, looking at different types of defenses, looking at different styles of play. I mean, we got a lot of questions.
So I'll ask you first about this year's seniors, and you've got 3 of them, and they all played some minutes last year. But talk about that group and what you think you're going to get out of them this year.
Well, hopefully some toughness, hopefully some leadership. They all 3 should know and do know by now what's expected and what's coming. Alcoa is going to be the team to beat. They return everybody but one, everybody but the big girl. And had some freshmen come up that can play, and you guys saw it last year. Their man-to-man is second to none. They just get after you everywhere, and we've got to be tough. We've hopefully built some toughness in the weight room. They've all worked really hard. All got stronger since May. But I go through each one of them. Kennedy Shoemaker kind of got to play inside some, outside some, just kind of fill gaps. Hopefully give us some rebounding, some toughness there. Mahala Martin, one of the best athletes on the team, if she'll just use what she's got, she's going to give us some good minutes. Her floater driving in is as good as anybody's. And then, of course, McKenna Terry gave us some minutes last year. She filled some shoes and had some really good games. And we need her to exhibit toughness inside because we don't have a lot of size. Lacey Llewellyn won't be back again this year, and she was going to give us some good minutes. Had a great summer, had worked really hard. It's her other hip now. So she's having surgery on that in December. And best attitude of any, kid. Her and Lydia Klein, both wonderful attitudes on the adversity they faced. But I hate it for both of them, what they've been through, but I think Lacey, what the plan is for her to be back next year and really be ready to go because she had a tremendous summer for us. It's heartbreaking to see her go through it again.
I was just about to say that your junior class is probably maybe the core of this year's team, and now you delivered me some news that I wasn't aware of before just now in losing Lacey Llewellyn.
I've got more news too. Jake knows we go through it every day, and
Let me ask you about one junior in particular, and then you can take off with the rest of your juniors. Larissa Jones, last year I remember sitting in the gym it was midway, and so that may have been a Hall of Fame game. It was early in the season, and she came off the bench for you, and immediately I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. Did you at that point? Obviously, you didn't.
I mean, I know how
to quite that degree.
I mean, she's a super athlete. We bought some new jump boxes and 24-inch, 20-inch, and then we combine a couple together to make an 18-inch, and we do just progressive jumps and things like that, and she clears all of them like it's nothing. The other girls are just like calling her the kangaroo and things like that. She is a tremendous athlete. Adding the experience, hopefully this year she's going to help us in that, at that level too, because she's raw. She was raw last year, and she does a lot of things that are unorthodox, and you'll see some shots go up and go in, and I'll be like, oh no, oh yes, all in one breath. So, but we need her to, she obviously should lead the team in rebounding, be strong with the ball. She is so fast, she can outrun other post players, and it's just getting that out of her all the time. Sprint the court. You're going to get easy buckets. Caitlin Stiltner wasn't near as fast as her, but she would do those things, and that's how she got a lot of her points. And I'm just trying to get that across to her. If she'll do that, we got some guards that will find her.
One of your other juniors, you just happen to know her, and that's Ellie.
Yeah,
and
know her a little bit.
She's somebody that's going to be on everyone's radar in the district this year. How much has she improved from last season?
She's had a great off season, and Coach will tell you we've played some pickup. Let the guys and girls play against each other, and play with each other too. On the same team. So, and she's the real deal. She's going to be matched with the best defender every night. Mm-hmm. She can't just stand around and say they're running a box and one on me or they're doing this. Just step up and know it's coming and attack it. But she played in, her and several others played in the Elite 80 Fall League, and she had a great fall, and several others did too. But I'm excited for her. She's excited about this season, and she's worked on driving to the goal and finishing. So that's one thing she's added, and she's a lot better at this year. And then, of course, Cameron Stiltner got some playing time last year. She is going to be expected to do a lot too. Her and Ellie will kind of be co-point guards, helping each other out, bringing the ball up the court. Cameron's three-point shooting is great. She shot really well this summer, and of course she's another one that's really athletic. And then got Faith Mitchell's another junior. She's a post player. Going to throw her into some scrimmages and see what she can do. And then now Lexi Markham was my other junior, and she played a lot this summer. She tore her ACL the last camp game this summer. So injuries have just crushed us at times, and it's like I tell the girls, there ain't nothing we can do about it. We got to step up. So hopefully, we'll get everybody back at some point. But those girls are expected to have some leadership roles for us.
Only one sophomore on the roster this year, and that is Avery Rector. What kind of a role is she going to play?
She's going to play a lot. She is another one. She's come a long way since last year. Very strong, athletic, but she's got some confidence. She played in that fall league also, and the first day she didn't know anybody. She didn't know anybody on her team, was kind of nervous. She came out of that shell quick. She is very good at driving. She can make threes. It's just seeing the court, not getting herself into trouble is going to be the big thing for her. But I'm excited for her. She's going to really help us.
How about your freshmen? Any of them going to contribute right away?
Got a chance. When you've only got 10 healthy right now, everybody's got a chance. But, of course, Maddie Pike, she's following in her sister's footsteps, and she's a gym rat. Her shot has completely changed since middle school. She is one of our best three-point shooters. It's just going to be the speed of the game, getting used to that. And the size of the players we're playing against. But she's going to have a chance. Kendall Duncan has looked really good. She's a ball magnet. You just have those players sometimes it's like the ball comes off and just lands in their lap. That's who she is, and she's got some skills. And then Elizabeth Zachary's a post player. She's injured right now, but she had a good summer. I threw her in, that last game when we had some players get injured, and she did some good things. So the future's bright, and we're going to be okay once we get through all this and figure some things out. But I promise you, we're going to play hard and we're going to figure it out.
Okay, now I know Tim's got plenty of questions for you. He told me during the break he was going to grill you, and he was looking forward to that. Before he does that, let's get to Jake McKing and switch sides of the table and go through your roster real quick. And you lost a ton of senior leadership last year. So does that keep you awake at night, wondering how you're going to replace all those guys?
You ain't going to replace them 5 seniors. They won a lot of basketball games for me and our program, and we lost a point guard that could play with anybody. And, we lost in Landon and in Caden some good defensive players that could hit open shots. And we lost Gavin Keaton, who was a floor general. And you lost Hayden Bronner that dominated the post. We can't replace it. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. This is the youngest team I've ever had. We're going to be playing some kids that ain't ready, but they're going to have to play. And, I got one senior, and that's Cooper West. Cooper's not played a whole lot. He played a little bit at the end of the summer, but Cooper's been coming to the gym and shooting. He's matured. I think he's going to get some playing time. Like Coach West, my main core is going to be my junior class with Grady Keaton and Ben Gilbert and Jesse Zachary. You all know what Grady can do. He's started about every game since he's been in high school. But like Ellie, he's going to be drawing the best defender now where his brother got it last year. So he's going to have to learn to play off of screens. He's going to be my point guard some. Then I've got, Ben and Jesse. They played some limited minutes last year, but they're big and strong kids. I know what they are. They're football guys, but they can do little things that can help us, especially around the rim. Jesse's strong. Ben's strong. Ben's one of them type players that'll do anything you ask. He's going to dive on the floor. He's going to do the little things. My sophomore class, Big Drayton Wade, who's playing football, he's going to be a starter, and he's going to have to play, and he's going to have to learn how to not be lazy so much. I'm just going to be honest. He's going to have to play, and he's going to have to get after it. But he's a scorer. He can shoot the basketball. My other Ryder Watson, Reason West, Israel Turner, Gavin Jones, and Noah Montgomery. I don't know much about Noah yet. He transferred in. He's playing football, but them other 4 have really worked hard. I don't know how much playing time they'll get. It's how much they go and practice. This is probably the biggest freshman class I've ever had. Yes, you're going to see 3 or 4 of them freshmen play varsity basketball. My nephew, Bryson Butler, he never played middle school. He's real raw, but he's an athlete. He's fast. He's quick. I'm talking about fast. Then you got Kanan, who's a leader on the floor as he did last year. He's a point guard. He's going to be sharing that point guard duty with Grady some. Then you've got Jackson Phillips, who came from Huntsville. Left-handed kid, can shoot the eyes out of it. Coach West has seen that. He may get some time. Kenton Lay, he was at Huntsville. He can shoot it at times. Like I said, these guys ain't ready for what they're getting ready to face and what we're going to play. But Jake Markham, big athlete, do anything you ask him. Newman's coming back out. It's not Noah, but what's his name? Nash. I got bold typed this out wrong. Sorry, Nash. Nash Newman's coming back out playing. He played a lot this summer on the JV. He probably got the best post moves of any player I've got right now. Then I've got Hayden Dunlap that decided to come out after a dead period. I got Trey Smith coming in playing, and then we got a transfer the other day from Watburg, Case and Hutchinson. But these guys, freshman class is a good class that has played a lot of ball together in the summer, and they decided to go to school at the same school, and something to build on in the future. But they're going to have to play right away. I'm going to throw them into the fire, and you all know what we're going to face. And I'm a realist. There's going to be times that we're going to look okay, and then there's other times we're going to look like we are. We're going to be young, but we got to have leadership from Grady, Ben, and Jesse to help these guys through. But I'm excited. It's going to look different than what we've been in the past. I mean, even for me, Coach Slavin left. He's a middle school girls coach. I told him, go do it. Go do what you want to do. Coach Pike done the same thing. He's gone to help the girls. His daughter's playing. So I've got 2 new assistants. Brent Shoemaker, I hired him, and I've hired Caleb Laxton. And so far everything's going good. Caleb didn't go with us this summer. I just hired him last week. But it's going to be different for me because I had somebody there in Tori and Jason that's been with me for 4 or 5 years. Tori's been there since day one with me, and I miss him. I'm not going to lie, I miss him. He done all the little things that I'm having to do now, but he's going to do a great job at the middle school. But I'm excited about this year. I know it's going to be tough, but I promise you this, we're going to play hard. We're going to be scrappy. You will see some man-to-man. You're going to see some junk defense, as they call it, because we've got to.
So this is probably an unfair question, but if you had to throw 5 out on the floor right now, and you don't have to, thankfully, but you're in the gym right now, and you don't have your football players right now.
And that's another thing. This is the first year I've not had my core.
So if you had to throw 5 out there, who would it be right now?
Oh, my Lord. Without the football guys, I have no idea.
Okay, that's a fair answer.
Yeah, I have no idea. Mark could probably tell you before I can, but I have no idea right now. I don't.
All right, so big picture things we'll talk about with the district. So, and leaving yourself out, give me the pecking order of the district. You already said Alcoa. That's the team to beat.
Yes.
Is the girls. And then where does it go from there?
GP.
All right.
You got Pigeon Forge, AE right there together, and then Eagleton.
So a year ago, you were third behind a really powerful Gatlinburg and a really powerful Alcoa. Alcoa really powerful again, Gatlinburg. So they've dropped off some, but they know what they're doing.
They've lost some players. They've still got some players.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, they had kids coming off the bench that would have started at about any other school in that district.
So we know Eagleton is going to continue to get better because of the atmosphere there and the growth of that school. So Eagleton, Pigeon Forge, Austin East. How much better are those three, or did any of them take a step back?
Pigeon Forge lost their big girl, and that was it.
Okay.
So they're going to have their guards, everybody back, but her. Austin East still had those 2 freshmen were tremendous athletes, and I saw one of them this summer, and she's just continuing to get better. So they're going to be a handful, and just is what it is. We're going to have to pick it up.
So I believe a year ago, out of the district, if you finish in the top 4 of the district, when the other district came in, did everybody but their one lose in that first round? Is that right, or did the one lose? I can't remember. Did in the other district?
I don't think AE won. I think AE was 4th, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think they lost.
Beat by Hampton.
Yeah.
Hampton. Okay, so Hampton was the only one to survive. What about? Do you know anything about that other District 1 this year?
I'm just worried. I just won't get there. I just won't get a face one of them. I'll be honest with you.
Your district is the challenge, no doubt.
I mean, and not to say there's not teams that there can beat us. I mean, we played tremendous when we went to South Green last year. I mean, we rose to the occasion. Like I said last year, we didn't know who they were, and that was the best thing that happened. We already knew who GP and Alcoa were before, since we went in this district. So that kind of put us behind the 8 ball with them. But I'll worry about that when we get there. The thing is to get there.
And the health. Is that your biggest concern?
By far, yeah.
Yeah.
You talk about sleepless nights of thinking about things. That's one of the things. We can't afford to lose anybody else. But with that being said, we can't play scared to get hurt. Things happen. I mean, you've seen it in football with Oneida this year, and I'm sure Scott's probably had their share of injuries. I know that one night there were several kids get hurt, and it happens. You've got to be preparing every kid to play. Just like Coach, I may have to throw some freshmen in the fire, and you never know what they'll do. They may show up.
Are there any major adjustments that you're doing this year? You've coached for a while, so I know that because I've watched for a while. Yeah. So, and I guess this will be your 30th year teaching. Is that right?
31st.
31st.
Oh,
man. Somewhere around there.
I am the old man.
So
the middle school kids let me know that every day.
So as you get older, I mean, do you still make changes? Do you still adjust to the personnel you have, or do you have?
Well, you have to. I mean, we're not fortunate enough like colleges to go grab whatever kid that we think fits our system. Our system changes. It's fluid. I don't know if we'll be able to run the ball like we've liked to in the past. I just don't know if we'll have the depth to do it. I don't know if we'll be in position to do it. There may be times we need to run clock. But also some nights, can we hold on to the ball long enough to run the clock? I mean, it just is what it is. It's just, like I said, we're going to be very experimental early in the year. And I've talked to Coach Pike, Coach Markham. Sandy Martin's going to come back and help us when she can. The girls are really excited about that. Of course, when you got 3 guys coaching, it's nice to have somebody like her around. She's a lot more even keel than we are. But we're just going to just trial by error and, just figure it out.
Coach Rogers will help you with that weave to run the clock down. I've seen him do it a time or two.
Well, he always had the kids that could handle that ball too. I promise you, and they could zip that pass from one corner to the other.
Jake, what about the district look with you left out? What would be the pecking order of the district in your opinion?
Well, I think you still got Alcoa #1 back-to-back state champion.
And in case anybody doesn't know, Alcoa got a transfer.
Yes.
So last year there were a trio of Mr. Basketballs within the district. So one of those went to Florida. That's Shane Cherry from Austin East. One graduated on, and that's from Alcoa. I'm blanking on his name.
I can't think of it either, but
amazing.
everybody knows who you're talking about. He's Mr. Basketball 2 years in a row.
And then you've
Javin
got
Carter.
Yes, Carter.
Javin Carter, thank you. And then Glasper he'll be back with Gatlinburg. So after saying that, and Condis Cherry, Shane's little brother, went to Alcoa.
Yeah.
So then now your pecking order, you say Alcoa probably first?
I mean, I would. They're back-to-back state championship. They got a great coach. They've got athletes over there, that. Then I would probably go GP next just because of Glasper. I want to tell you something. Eagleton's going to be good, guys. I'm telling you. They got everybody back. They got a transfer in that's about 6'5" from William Blunt, I think. And then you're going to have Pigeon Forge, and then I would say AE. I don't really know a lot about AE with the Cherry Boys gone, but I can promise you that they're probably going to be athletic. They're going to be fast. That would be my pecking order right there.
Okay, and what about style-wise? Talking about Coach West style-wise. What you've always liked to get out and go, and this
time it's going to be we're going to have, for us to be in games, especially against these districts, we're going to have to make it a grind. You know what I'm saying? It's going to have to be. Throw, like I said, junk defenses, and like I say, I can't take it out of some of them. Some of them just is run, and Grady Keaton's one of them. That's when he's best in open floor. That was this summer. But we got to learn to play, limit their possessions, because we're going to have kids in there that's very inexperienced, and we're going to have to make it grind them games, and we're going to have to be defensively as good as we've ever been, and because like I said, these freshmen, I know what I'll get out of them. They're going to come in and they're going to play their guts out for me just because that's what freshmen do. I've seen it with this class. Sometimes I think the class that just graduated sometimes played harder as freshmen and sophomores than they did as seniors. But I'll know what I get at them as hard as it's going to be right. That's the thing. But it'll be grind them games sometimes. And again, we're thinking about, it's kind of like Marv. We're going to experiment a lot there early to see what goes. But like I say, we play a district game pretty early, so we're going to have to get it figured out pretty quick.
So, I'm from being around Oneida football, basketball, Oneida fans are spoiled. I say that. I've said that before. Oneida fans have been spoiled. And there's a good side to that. Oneida travels well. I mean, you look at the other night at Greenback, we'd come off a couple of disappointing games, and at first I wondered what it was going to look like, and then it's full. They're there, and they're loud, and they're behind the team. It's a catch-22 though. Sometimes they're so involved and they're so used to winning that it can make it tough if things aren't going their way all the time. But talk about the importance of the fans, Coach West first. The fans and the support that you're going to need from the fans this year for your team.
Well, a full gym, a packed gym, is a lot easier to play in front of. That energy goes straight to the court. Empty gyms, it's tough. When parents can hear everything you're saying. When the kids, it's hard for them to talk when everybody knows what they're saying. I don't know. It's just so much different. So obviously we want to have good crowds. We haven't had much of a problem with that in the past. And I felt like in about every gym we went to this year, our gym was as packed as any of them, if not more. And several of those coaches said to us, our environment was something that they missed because they don't see it as much at that level.
Yeah, and that was a big difference. I mean, sometimes when you go to
his win against GP last year, that place was rocking, and I think that helped with the momentum swings in that game. And they were all over the GP kids, and you could tell it'd been a while since they'd probably had a smaller gym atmosphere.
and I don't want this to sound like an insensitive question, so I'm kind of apologizing up front. But, everybody was looking at the numbers and talking about what's going to happen next year. So next year's going to happen. You're going to be back in single A, but we're not in next year. We have 2 seasons to play right here. And you have a group of seniors that this is it. This is their season. So talk about how you deal with that. I'll let you start with that one, Jake. Talk about how you approach that to make sure that these seniors get the best that we can get them, the best we can give them this year.
Well, I got one senior, but we're going to try to go win every game. I mean, if that wasn't my philosophy, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And we're going to try to go as far as we can. Now, our goal is to make it to region. We came up short last year. We probably should have been there, but we got upset in the region final. It's going to be. I feel like if things go the way it should be roles maybe be reversed where we're playing Eagleton again, but they're the 3 seed. Hopefully, we're 4. But either way, and get that senior to a region in AA, and get these other guys that played some last year into a region. That's where we want to get to, maybe even beyond. But and you said that as far as me going back to single A. We're going to take this year, too, and use it as, we're getting better, and we're going to try to push. When we come back to single A, we're going to hit the ground running.
It's a good growth opportunity.
Yes, it is. And I can promise you this. These young guys, nothing against single A back, they're not going to see the competition next year that they're going to see this year, and hopefully it will get them matured faster and get us going. But, no, we're going to concentrate on this year and try to give Cooper – something to go big big on, and that is get to a region.
Coach, your thoughts on this year and these seniors and this opportunity for them, and
I want to send them out the right way,
right.
The same way any other class. We fell short last year. Your goal is mine is always to get to a state tournament if you can. We knew what we were up against. I felt like we left everything we had on the court last year. I don't think we fell short of anything effort-wise. We were just outmanned against Alcoa. It just is what it is. But I want this bunch to experience a region tournament again this year. I want them to go upset a South Green or a Hampton or somebody if that's where we fall. I'd love to finish first or second and host somebody from up there. But it's a long season. We got to see, step by step where we're at. But, it's up to these seniors, too, to make the most of it. Mm-hmm. It's their choice on what they get out of this year. If they play hard, they know what they know, and I've told them what we're up against about every practice. So they know what's out there. So it's up to them to step up to that challenge, too.
And I'll say this, basketball, football, we kind of know it's highly unlikely that Oneida football is moving on to the postseason in this. Basketball is not like that. The regular season is just positioning, and everybody goes to postseason. But only one team in single A and double A and triple A, only one team is going to end on a win. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is going to end on a loss. So, it's just such a different mindset. But I'm excited about seeing you guys rise to the challenge this year and seeing what the Indians and Lady Indians can get done.
Well,
so,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's a challenge for both of us.
Yes.
And, like he said, this is the most inexperienced team he's ever had. This is probably not the most inexperienced team, but we've just got a lot of questions to answer, and we better answer them quick because our district schedule starts pretty quick into the season. But as coaches, as a coaching staff, I'm excited because it's a challenge for us. There's nothing going to come easy this year. And we've got to figure a way to get kids reps in practice that are going to help them take something to the game. And, if I'm only practicing with 10 on the first day, they're going to get all the reps they want.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Coach, before we get out of here, you were a little bit late tonight because you're coaching a Boys and Girls Club team, and maybe I should bring that young man back there up here and ask him this question, but are you as intense with that team as you are your high school team?
No, not yet. But
give him time, baby.
But with them two, they're playing together. With them two, they will see the intense side of me, and it's something they'll have to get used to. But, I'm like Marv. My goal is to get better every day this year, and hopefully every game you see us play, you notice that we get better every day. And I'm not kidding. He's not kidding. This is the most unexperienced, youngest team I've ever coached. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge. And I'm a little bit old to be doing this kind of stuff with this young kids, but it's something that I brought 2 new coaches in, and it's going to be fun. I think it will be at the end.
A little bit old.
A little bit old.
I ain't as old as you.
I'm a lot old.
I ain't as old as you.
All right, it starts November the 23rd. Do you guys know who you play at Anderson County that night?
We play Sevier County and Knox Central.
All right.
He's not.
I did not play a Hall of Fame game this
Okay.
year. I thought that football, and I did, and a lot of us did, would be playing, so I didn't schedule one. But we start off against, I guess, the following
Wartburg.
Monday. Yeah, Wartburg.
All right, so November the 23rd for the girls at Anderson County, and then Wartburg at home for both of you guys on November the 25th. Good luck. Looking forward to it.
Thank y'all for having us, and thanks for everything y'all do.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Marv West, Jacob King, basketball season just right around the corner. That's going to wrap it up for us tonight on the Roundtable. For Rick Keaton, for Tim Smith, I'm Ben Garrett. Don't forget, Friday night football will start at actually Thursday night football. Don't forget, Thursday night football is on Oneida host Bledsoe County, and our broadcast will start at 6 o'clock with the Baby J's Pizza pregame report, and then we'll be back with Scott High against Austin East on Friday. With that said, thank you for joining us tonight, and have a wonderful evening.